I mean, Jay Smooth has a video about racism, and again, damn it, internet, about people feeling, they hear the word racist and they freak out. It's a slur. TERF. That people are now saying you're a trans exclusionary radical feminist is a slur. Things like that. And I think we can always try the high road. I just think you should be prepared for the low road sometimes.
Yeah, that's the road that I have to take every single time. Like, thank you for your feedback. Really appreciate it. Which is a really great way for media to handle, if you're a moderator if you're trying to create a community or something, just be unfailingly polite, because people do just rattle stuff off, and there's been so many times where you come back with politeness and they're like, and I also want to apologize for my tone. Like, now that I reread it, they're not quite thinking about it, because we do type differently than we speak to people. Mm-hmm. And this was, sorry to be talking about you behind your back, Megan. I was defending you. Okay. No, but when I was talking to a named person in the media about how could this singular person be the worst person on Twitter, she's like, and just the way that she talks to people, blah, blah, blah. It's like, she's just a regular person. She's not a media professional. It's not her job to treat you with respect. Like, you came into, digital life is real life for some people. When you come into their spaces, they have every right to push you out because you just came into their home. Like, I am paid to talk to people, so I have to be nice about it.
Right. I would also add that often the interpretation of things said, because I've discovered that sometimes, even when you're polite, if you're just direct, I'm very blunt. I'm usually not the one that's going to call you names or whatever, but I will say things like, okay, so the point in your head is too far apart for me today. I can't right now. And people get really offended by that. They get really hurt. But they really just miss the point. I can't do anything about it, and I don't have time to explain to them where they missed it. So I think that's the other thing to take into consideration about this, because some of this stuff, listen, you're gonna hate follow and rant follow and whatever, and you're gonna, say things like, oh, it's about legitimacy in media, they know each other. I hate to break this to you, I know every person on this panel. I know them. Molly, I know because I've done Molly's radio show, right? You can't have this clean divide, because you're going to see the same people at the same events over and over again. There are like half a dozen people in this room easily that I recognize from 4 or 5 other cons, probably more, actually, looking around. Some of them are my friends, some of them are people I met at somebody's house. Some of them work in media. It's not that we have some major inappropriate relationship, we just know each other. Because let me tell you, when you do cons and you do creative type things, you're gonna see each other in every friggin' city. You can either get along or be bored.
I just needed to say this right quick about the danger of intentions. Because one of the magic rules is intent is not magic. I'm not trying to shut you down for anything that you would suggest, but the thing is that when you start in that sort of vein, saying, look, I know you didn't intend, it gives the implication to the other person that, oh, I may be able to continue rattling off offensive things as long as I didn't intend it. I'm a writer, I run a writing group, and since I don't get paid to run this writing group, I can be almost as blunt as I want to my writers, because it's no skin off my ass if one of them gets hurt. I have actually had a writer basically call me a controlling bitch and get angry at me because I wouldn't let him hit on another member online. So I kicked him out. And at that point, I was having a discussion with another co-organizer. I said, well, he didn't really know. I said, that's not an excuse. You need to be very, very aware, and I myself included, of what comes out of your mouth, especially when you are dealing with other people. Because you don't know what that person's been through. You don't know where they've been. You have to take these things into consideration. And also, there's that whole thing about respectability politics.
Well, and also we all have different communication styles, right? I'm not someone who actually takes offense really easily. I was in the Army. I was in the largely male spaces and male MOSs. I drove a forklift, for God's sakes, and then I was a combat medic. So I'm actually really hard to offend. But at base, I tend to try, at least in the beginning, unless you lead with "you fucking cunt," in which case I assume that we're now at fighting words, and it's gonna be one. But you can't always, in these conversations about trolls and whatever, you can't always assume that the person you're talking to, even with the "I'm trying to toughen them up," I can't assume if you say that someone should rape me, that you don't mean you're thinking of raping me, A, and B, that you don't actually mean rape as the rest of the world defines it. I can't assume any of that, right? So we have to be conscious that, you might have a great sense of humor with your friends. You might have that black pass to say the N-word as a white dude with your black friends. You didn't use that pass with anybody else. Well, but even if they do, you don't have it with me. You don't have it with these other people. You can say a lot of things to people who know you. I don't know you. So you can't come into these conversations, like the whole Gamergate thing. People say, well, I'm neutral or I'm pro-Gamergate because it's about blah, blah, blah in ethics and journalism and whatever. Or the rabbit puppy, sad puppy thing, the Hugos, right? They are saying somehow that the brown people in sci-fi have come in to take over and steal their genre. I don't know if you've been watching the last 50 years or so. I hate to break it to you. You haven't been the only creators of spec fic ever. Go read Tam Luke Genji and shut the hell up. So, that's the other thing about this. But I also saw somebody asking a question, and I lost them. There we go.
So, one of my situations that I come into contact with a lot as somebody who's been in the fan community.
Can you speak up, please?
Well, as somebody who has been in the fan community for many years, and who I had my run-in with horrifying internet celebrities way back at the beginning of social media, but I get the question all the time, well, why does it matter? It's video games. Why does it matter it's science fiction? Why does it matter that there aren't any real women in the new Star Wars movie? Why does it matter? And I get this from a lot of people who aren't in the community, who ask me these questions all the time because they assume I will have a good answer for them.
Erasure is not equality. That's really the answer. And I hear this a lot, that people really want, why does it matter? Well, first of all, Whoopi Goldberg will tell you in a minute that she got into acting because she saw Nicholas Nichols on Star Trek, right? If you are the default and you see yourself all the time, it's super easy to assume other people are identifying with the default. Meanwhile, there are studies that prove that TV actually harms the self-esteem of anyone who's not white, cisgendered, and male. That everybody else's self-esteem is negatively impacted by media. Everybody else feels isolated and shut out. Gee, maybe the solution to that is media that's not about white dudes. Maybe. Okay, wait, you have one? Okay.
You stole my thunder.
I'm sorry, I had the whole thing. Listen, I was doing the same thing as Dan so we could respond. What do you want from me?
Oh, I didn't see you jiggling around. So, why does it matter? Look around this room. Look outside. I'm brown. I have been gaming longer than some of these children that want to come at me online have been alive. I have games older than them. But the fact of the matter is, we exist. Our money is just as green as everyone else's. Can I? Oh, we don't need a wireless mic unless Mickey just feels like running around the room.
I mean, I can run around.
But it matters. So, okay, I'm 42, and the movie Home that just came out with the mixed girl in it. Okay.
Are you talking about the imposter?
No.
Okay, sorry.
It's an animated movie. Calm down.
Okay. No,
So, I'm 42. I didn't get to have those moments. I did not get to see girls that look like me growing up. It matters because if I, as a grown woman, went to this movie and bawled my eyes out because of the representation of that movie, then got mad online with Mickey about the fact that she's the star of the movie, go try to find some dolls. Go try to find something that is not that stupid little alien. There's 2 dolls we found through Mickey and someone else tweeting. One looked hideous and would terrify me if I was a child and someone gave it to me, and the other one you can't even find. So representation matters because the mere fact that we exist, our money exists, and I'm at a point, and this is why I started the hashtag of I'm sick of not existing in a media that I support. BioWare has gotten so much of my money over the last 10 years, it's shameful. And granted, they're one of the companies that does it better. But if someone asks you that question, just tell them, go talk to someone who doesn't get to see themselves represented in media. Go talk to someone who gets books and everything else and has to scour through it to find one instance. Look at the Hunger Games. Rue, the one black character we got, everybody flipped their shit when she was actually black in the movie, and I was like, did you not read this book? So Mickey's running around with the mic.
Yeah, I'm headed back here. Hold on.
What?
I know.
Hello. Hi. I'm just wondering, I guess it's a vague question, but where does this come from? Because growing up, when I liked video games, I got picked on it for liking video games. So when I met other people that liked it, it was kind of like this. I felt really accepted by other people that liked video games, kind of like a community. But my first job was at GameStop, and I got a lot of problems from people with me working there being a female. So I'm just wondering, I don't know, is this kind of weird just from that community that I thought was supposed to be accepting me, disliking me for just being a girl that played video games?
Because you were a girl that were in their clubhouse. And being at GameStop, the local GameStop I went to had 2 female employees, no longer. If I go somewhere with my male partner, they talk to him, he's not even a gamer. So it's the idea of you're in the boys club, and it's been there. We're just seeing it for the first time. It's always been there.
Well, and also, just to be clear, what actually often tends to happen with these things, I'm trying not to make the reverb things happen, sorry, is that we assume that our fandoms will be immune to sexism and racism and other isms. People just bring their biases with them. Okay, there are questions over here. I'm headed your way. I'm on the move, I'm on the move, I'm on the move.
I can project, so it is there. One of the things that I want to say, and it's kind of going back to what the point you just made about how people are coming into the clubhouse, and I think that's a big part of why we see a lot of control. You talk about how more people need representation, and when you don't see representation, like for me, as a white guy, I see representation everywhere. I've been rendered invisible. I am the guy, I'm the default. And for people like that, people who have been represented for so long and see the media representing them in that way, suddenly other people are coming in and saying, maybe, just maybe, in addition to you, we could see some other people. And they're like, wait a minute, no, this is how it's been, it's fine. And going back to the question back there about, when people say, what does it matter if we have this representation? Why can't you just return that question to them and say, well, what does it matter if he's white? What does it matter if Peter Parker is white? What does it matter if the Kingpin is depicted as an African-American guy? Because these, as much as we love these characters, as much as we put ourselves into them, they're all made up. And we can do whatever the hell we want with them. We can tell whatever stories we want. And that's, I think, the important thing that we have to remember as people who want to see more diversity and more representation and things like that. Is we have to start asking these questions like, well, why does it matter if he's this? Why does it matter if he's that? Why can't we just have somebody be this or that or the other thing? That was all I wanted to say.
Okay. I'm going to stop taking over the mic, I swear. But it's about...
This is a lie.
That's true. Mickey's known me how long now?
Right. And I'm going to make Jamie talk more.
Well, she was reaching for the mic and I said it. So.
Give it to Jamie. Give it to Jamie.
No, I just want to give a real mom voice. Give it to Jamie. You're not my mom. That doesn't work.
Give it to Jamie. I got mom voice and mom speed.